Hello everyone and welcome back to KORR Monsters. This time we are in El Paso, Texas for our very first show here. Our field of trucks starts off with Ray Goodwin in Big Tex, Ward Clayton in Buster, David Langford in Comedic Gaskets, Tom Spencer making his KORR Monsters debut in Deuces Wild, Todd Yates in Doggone Crazy, Nico Brock in Grim Fate, former two-time freestyle champion Mark Moody in Haas CNC, Luke Riley in Howler, former racing champion Kinsley Parks debuting her brand new truck NGK Igniter, Adam Bell in Sassy Child, Keith Johnson making his return to KORR Monsters in Sinful Addiction, and then rounding us off, former two-time freestyle champion Jack Schroeder in Try Me. Now to kick off the event here, we're going to go into racing. Our four trucks getting the round one bye are Big Tex, Haas CNC, Doggone Crazy, and Sassy Child. But before we get to see those trucks, we have to go through round one of racing. So our round one matchups are going to be NGK Igniter going up against Comedic Gaskets, Buster going up against Sinful Addiction, Howler going up against Grim Fate, and then Deuces Wild going up against Try Me. Coming up first, we have NGK Igniter and Comedic Gaskets' brand new truck for Kinsley. We'll have to see how she does here. Of course, David Langford in Comedic Gaskets. Very hot shoe at the moment. Almost won the racing championship. So we come around to the final turn here, coming to the line. It's going to be close. It's going to be Comedic Gaskets picking up the win over NGK Igniter. Next up, Buster versus Sinful Addiction. It's been quite a long time since we've seen Keith Johnson's Sinful Addiction here in KORR Monsters. Glad to see him back. Of course, now he's running his own operation. So this is a fully private truck now, and he's got the lead right now over Buster. Coming around the last turn, and it'll be all Keith Johnson and Sinful Addiction picking up the win. Moving on into round number 2. Next up, Howler and Grim Fate pulling up the line. Good start from both trucks. Grim Fate pulling the front wheels just a little bit. Coming around the first time. Looks pretty close at the line, but it's going to be Howler with the advantage. Coming around the last turn, coming to the line, it's going to be Howler just barely picking up the win over Grim Fate. Now last race of round number 1, Deuces Wild going up against Try Me. Deuces Wild, old school truck, been around for a few decades. First time we're seeing it here in KORR Monsters. And then of course two-time freestyle champion Jack Schroeder and Try Me in the other lane. First time by the line, it's pretty close, but Try Me does have a lead. Going into the last turn, coming to the line, it's going to be all Jack Schroeder and Try Me picking up the win here in round number 1. Now we take a look at our round 2 bracket. It'll be Big Tex going up against Comedic Gaskets, Haas CNC going up against Sinful Addiction, Doggone Crazy going up against Howler, and then rounding out round number 2 of racing, it'll be Sassy Child going up against Try Me. Now pulling up the line to start round 2, Big Tex and Comedic Gaskets. And away they go. Good start out of both trucks. Into the first turn. Pretty good out of both trucks. Comedic Gaskets with the lead, but not by a whole lot over Big Tex. Last turn, who's going to have the better turn? Coming to the line. It's going to be close. It's going to be Comedic Gaskets getting the win in the air. Big Tex not quite enough there to get the win. Now we have Haas CNC going up against Sinful Addiction. Once again, good start out of both trucks. Through the first turn, looking pretty good so far. It looks like it's going to be Haas with the advantage right now. Into the last turn. And it looks like it's going to be all Haas CNC getting the win here in round number 2. Sinful Addiction almost with the comeback victory, but not quite enough at the end there. Now we have Doggone Crazy versus Howler. into the first turn. You can hear how loud those zoomies are on Doggone Crazy. You can barely even hear Howler. Coming around the final turn. It's going to be nothing but Doggone Crazy. Howler gets into a little bit of trouble there. Almost went over, but Doggone Crazy getting the win into the semifinals. Now we have Sassy Child going up against Try Me. Both trucks pulling the front wheels a little bit. A good start out of both of them. Ooh, Try Me clips the car a little bit. That could mess him up. And indeed, Sassy Child has the lead right now. Into the final turn. Try Me with an amazing turn, however, coming to the line. It's going to be Try Me just barely edging out Sassy Child to get that last spot into the semifinals. Now our semifinal matchups. Comedic Gaskets going up against Haas CNC, and then Battle of the Teammates, Doggone Crazy versus Try Me. Now we got Comedic Gaskets and Haas CNC up on the line, and away they go. Into the first turn, looking good so far. A little tighter turn out of Haas CNC. Into the final turn, looks close. Haas CNC over-rotates though. Misses the ramp. It's going to be Comedic Gaskets picking up the win, coming into the finals once again. Now, Battle of the Teammates, Doggone Crazy and Try Me. Good start out of both trucks. Both of these trucks, plenty of racing wins along with their freestyle wins. Pretty close at the line. Slight advantage maybe to Doggone Crazy. All going to come down to this last turn. Who gets the better run to the line? No, it's Try Me getting the win. Try Me just barely edged out Doggone Crazy there. So our final matchup will be Comedic Gaskets going up against Try Me. And now here they are pulling up to the line, waiting on that green light. And away they go. Comedic faster on the tree. Into the first turn. Coming to the line the first time by. It's going to be Comedic Gaskets by about half a truck over Try Me. Try Me nailed that turn. Coming to the line. Try Me's going to get the win with the nose pointed straight up in the air. So Try Me, your racing winner here in El Paso. Now we're moving on into freestyle. You can see our order starting off with Howler. Then we'll go into Deuces Wild, Big Tech, Sinful Addiction, Buster, Grim Fate, Sassy Child, Doggone Crazy, Comedic Gaskets, NGK Igniter, and then our two former freestyle champions, Haas CNC and Try Me, to end us off. Now first up, Luke Riley coming out in Howler. Starting off good air on the racing lane, puts it right onto the back of that chassis. Now Luke, sophomore here in KORR Monsters. We saw him drive Bull Tilt last year, making the move over to Howler this year. And a couple of great slap wheelies to get us started. So far, some good hits, some good air. Pretty decent momentum. I feel like we're going to see a lot faster momentum later on, but so far pretty good to get us started. A little bit of a slap wheel there on the back of the yellow lane. Gonna go for another slap wheelie here and right back onto the back bumper of that truck. "30 seconds left in the run, going into some donuts. Now go right over that Van Sack. Very tall obstacles here. Time for one, maybe two more hits here for Luke Riley and Howler. Some great air off the racing lane once again. And that's probably going to be the last hit the judges count. They might count this next one. But Luke Riley looks like he's going to keep on going here for the fans. Get a few more hits in. And going right over that car once again. And looks like he's going to park it here. It's going to be a 19 from the judges to get us started. Plenty of room for someone to pass him, but next up, Tom Spencer coming out. Induces Wild. Been driving this truck a long time. So we'll have to see how he can do here in KORR Monsters. Don't know if he's ever seen obstacles quite this big before. So we'll have to see how he attacks this track. For another hit on the back of the racing lane. So far, pretty decent start, nothing too crazy. And just gonna roll over that van stack as well. Momentum's pretty much dead here right now. There's some pretty good air. Tried for a slap wheel, that truck just did not want to cooperate. Lining up for another big hit. Good sky wheelie going over that obstacle. Coming down to the last 30 seconds of the run. Lining up for something. Good sky wheelie. Loses the tailgate on the landing. Pretty much no momentum here in this run. There's the slap wheelie. There's some big air. Right as time expires. Good hit to end the run. We'll have to see what the judges do with that. Don't know if there was a lot they could do with that. There were some good moves in there, but pretty much no momentum. And it looks like he's going to go into some donuts here right in the middle of the floor. And he's going to end it there. Score of 21 from the judges. Big score there for that run. We'll have to see how the rest of the event goes. Kind of surprised by that, but now we have Ray Goodwin in Big Tex coming out. Of course, Big Tex themed after the state of Texas, so home state show for him. Good hit on that white lane. Goes for a slap wheelie, not quite enough to get a full wheelie out of it. Good air off the yellow lane, a little crooked on the landing. But that truck took it like a champ. New suspension package under the truck for this year. Ran that single shock for a few years. Now he's on a more conventional dual shock setup. So far it looks like it's doing pretty good for him. Pretty quick in racing. Didn't get a win, but made it a close race, which he hasn't really done too much in the past. Now we're coming down to the last 30 seconds of this run. Again, I don't know that it's better than what we saw out of Howler, but it's definitely better than what we saw out of Deuces Wild. Last 15 seconds of the run. Good sky wheelie into a slap wheelie. This is definitely one of the better runs we've seen out of Big Tex. Now we're getting our cross thread right before time expires. And judges might count this last hit. Good wheelie, walks it down on one tire. Good recovery there, almost went over. And he's going to keep on going. Going for another slap wheelie. Not quite going to get it. And looks like he's going to shut it down right there. Gets a 20 from the judges. Pretty confused by what they're scoring right now. But next up we have Keith Johnson and Sinful Addiction coming out. Huge air to get us started off the racing lane into a slap wheelie. Now, Keith used to drive Sinful Addiction here in KORR Monsters. Back in the old days, huge air off that racing lane. Back then, he used to drive for KORR Motorsports. Now he's back doing it by himself. He's been doing it for a few years now. All out of his own pocket. We'll have to see how he can continue here. So far, it's a great run out of Sinful. Been a long time since he's seen a track this big. And so far, he's not afraid of anything out here. Great air. Going into another great slap wheelie. Combos it up with that van stack. Now we're going to get some donuts. No, looks like he clipped the car over there and it shot him out straight. 30 seconds left in the run now. More huge air off that racing lane. Combos it up with that van stack. And once again, up onto two wheels. Oh, looks like he's going to have to back up there. That's going to be a negative with the judges. Now, huge air off that obstacle. Probably longest air of the event so far. Time for one more hit out of Sinful Addiction. And he's going to transfer it from one van stack to the other. Buried the front end of the chassis in the dirt there, though. And that was the last move. The judges are counting. Oh, gets into trouble just like we saw out of Big Tex. Truck's going to shut off. It's going to be a 23, so it's going to be enough to take the lead. Apparently, judges really did not like that backup. But now we got Ward Clayton coming out in Buster. Member of Team Try Me. This team always throws down. Known for their wild cross thread, so we'll have to see what Ward can do here. Good sky wheelie into a slap wheelie and walks it across the floor. Good hit on that fan stack, walks it down on the down side of the ramp. So far, great momentum out of Buster, possibly the best we've seen all night. Big cross thread. And he's going to get rejected by the ramp. Up and over he goes. It's only going to be a 12 for Buster. Unfortunate ending to the run for him. But next up we have Nico Brock and Grim Fate, one of his teammates. So far, a couple of big hits to get us started. Now some good air on the back of the racing lane. So we just saw his teammate go for a cross thread and go over. You have to wonder if Nico's going to look at that. Ooh, as he gets into some trouble there. You have to wonder if Nico's going to look at that and go, wow, I shouldn't try to cross thread that obstacle. Or if he's going to go after it and see if he can do it just to show up Ward. Halfway through the run right now. Some great moves. Goes for a cross thread up and over and hard onto the front end once again. Back-to-back weeks for that. It's going to be a 14 from the judges, though. Next up, Adam Bell in Sassy Child. Coming out, getting us started here with a good slap wheelie right on the wheelie bar. Now, talking with Adam in the pits before the event, he's been struggling with his chassis for the last few years, trying to get it working for him. And by the sounds of it, he's got a new chassis in the works. Planning to debut it next year, but it could be done sooner, so we'll have to see what happens with that, because he's got 2 more shows this season. So he could bring it out even before that, because I think he's doing the last 2 shows of the season. But we'll have to see then. Right now, he's putting on a pretty good freestyle show. Great air off that racing lane into a slap wheelie. Picks it up off the ground completely. Coming down to the last 30 seconds of the run here. Huge air. Combos it up onto the wheelie bar. What a move there from Sassy Child. Time for just a couple more hits here for him. more huge air off the racing lane. I know Adam's not been happy with his racing performance, hence that new chassis coming in, but this has got to be one of the best freestyles we've seen out of this truck for him. Goes for the same cross-thread Grim Fate just wrecked on, but that time he did not flip. So showing up Grim Fate there. Oh, up and over. Rips the front wheel off. That's going to shut him off. It's going to be a 24 for Sassy Child. So that'll be enough to take the lead here. Away from Sinful Addiction, but now we have Todd Yates and Doggone Crazy coming out. Another one of those Team Try Me trucks, and also the loudest truck here in KORR Monsters. Of course, being the only truck here with zoomies. Oh, gets into a little bit of trouble there, but keeps it going. Of course, we saw at finals, Todd debuted these new wider axles on this truck. They're about a foot, maybe a foot and a half wider than the old axles. Seemed to perform pretty decent in racing, and also really good in freestyle. Keeps the track width nice and wide on that truck. Makes saving it a lot easier. So far, really good run. Couple of small saves out of him. Big cross thread there. 30 seconds left on the clock. Oh, plants it right on that fan stack. And he's going to keep on going. Looks like we're going to get some donuts here out of him. Up onto 2 wheels. Can he save it? Yes, he will. Todd Yates, Doggone Crazy, doing what he does best and living up to that name. I think he just broke a 4-link on that landing. And yeah, you can see it dragging there on the floor. Time's expired. That was his last move. Oh, but what a transfer right there. One van stack to the other, right down the backside of the ramp. Goes for another one. Gets tripped up by that one a little bit. Up onto 2 wheels. Can he save it this time? No, he cannot. Up and over. Gets a 28 from the judges. Blows into the lead. Just a few trucks left. David Langford coming out next in Comedic Gaskets. Starting us off with some massive air off that racing lane. Track crew did a great job on the racing lanes for freestyle. They are providing some massive air. See, once again, get some more there. Try to get some air off that lone car, but did not get very much, if any at all. David's keeping the momentum up here in this run. Constantly just standing on that loud pedal. Going for a transfer, gets into trouble. Dances it on the back wheels and brings it back onto all 4. Oh, gets in a little bit of trouble there, up and over. And he's not going to save that one. Too much time left on the clock, and 18 for Comedic Gaskets. But next up, Kinsley Parks brings out NGK Igniter. First event in about a season we're seeing out of her. Of course, got injured last year and had to sit out for the rest of the year. Now back in a brand new truck. So far driving like she never left. Just trying to kill this thing right off the bat. Clips the car up onto 2 wheels and up and over she's going to go. Way too quick. It's going to be a 6 from the judges, not the return Kinsley Parks was looking for. But now 2 trucks left. Mark Moody coming out in Haas CNC. Good slap wheelie to get us started. Huge air off the racing lane. Mark, of course, 2-time freestyle champion, won both of those driving B4 at Briggs Car Parts before moving to this Haas CNC truck last year. So far, living up to the title of former freestyle champion. Great freestyle so far out of him. Not quite sure if we've seen enough to compete with Doggone Crazy, but massive air. And a couple of good cross threads out of him now. Don't know if it's going to be enough, but it should definitely take second place as we get some donuts with 30 seconds left. Going for a transfer, gets into trouble. Up and over, can he save this one? No, the truck shut off. It'll be a 26 for Mark Moody. Too much time left. Looking like he could have tied for the lead, maybe beat him. But now last truck out, Jack Schroeder and Try Me. Currently tied for the most freestyle wins in KORR Monsters history with Opal Baxter and Reckless Red. Would love to break that time in his favor for once. So far, a bunch of hard landings on that left front. Saw him land on it pretty hard in racing as well. Don't know if he has a shot going out or what. Huge air off that racing lane. We've seen a few trucks get that much height as he gets up onto two wheels and brings it back down. We saw a few trucks get that much height off that, but nowhere near that distance. Try gets a couple of cross threads in now. A little bit of trouble there. And now he's going to have to back up as well. That could cost him. We've seen the judges be pretty stingy here. Oh, gets into trouble. Can he save it? Did he save it? He did. Oh, but he broke that truck big time. He's going to keep on going here. Oh, there goes the front end. Up and over he goes. It's going to be 27. So that was shaping up to be the winning run, but going over way too soon. That's going to give the win over to Doggone Crazy with that 28. Try Me getting second with a 27. Haas CNC with that 26. Then it's going to be Sassy Child with a 24, Sinful Addiction with a 23, Deuces Wild with a 21, Big Tex with a 20, Howler with a 19, Cometic Gaskets with an 18, Grim Fate with a 14, Buster with a 12, and then NGK Igniter, unfortunately going over way too soon and getting a 6. But that has been a pretty entertaining show, if I do say so myself. Some good crashes, some great racing. But my opinion doesn't quite matter as much as yours. Let us know what you thought about this show down in the comments below. And also be sure to check us out on Instagram to keep up to date with everything going on behind the scenes. And as always, we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week in Glendale, Arizona. We'll see you then.